What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Word of Mouth. My name is PJ, and today I kind of have a different episode for you, but I'll still be bringing you black people to support nonetheless.
Start with the vision, then make a killing. You gon' make you $1 million, they gon' make you a villain.
On today's episode, I'll be going over 10 podcasts that I rock with, that I've been listening to, and if you don't know, I listen to a lot of podcasts because I don't listen to music during the week. So I take in a lot of information, and I just wanted to share with you guys the podcasts that I listen to where I'm getting a lot of my information from. These podcasts are not in order. I'm not ranking these podcasts or anything like that. I only have numbers so I can keep track of how many I've told you so far. So don't get caught up in the numbers or whatever. I'm not ranking or anything like that. You can rank yourself, you know what I'm saying? But everybody has their own opinions, which is why I can't get over here and rank them. You know what I'm saying? So, but stay tuned in. We're going to jump right into it. Okay, so first up, we got Earn Your Leisure. Earn Your Leisure is a podcast that I've been listening to all of 2019. They've risen to the top very fast in 2019. And what I like about this podcast is that they deep dive. And they really ask their guests, like, how? And how did you start this? How did you start that? You know what I'm saying? How did you get from here to there? They really deep dive into questions that maybe the other podcasts will overlook. You know, they're trying to get to the bottom of it. Rashad and Troy are definitely out here trying to educate people, so they don't also have the podcast, but they recently launched EYL University, where they have a variety, maybe alumni of the podcast or different people in their network that they have teaching topics from real estate, stocks, to different business. You know what I'm saying? The focus of their podcast is highlighting the sports and entertainment industry, the business of that. So that's really a lot of their focus. But they also bring a lot of education. And the EYL University, I just think that idea is so dope, and they're doing real big things. So definitely check out Earn Your Leisure podcast. The second podcast I got for y'all is Black Wealth Renaissance. And I rock with Black Wealth Renaissance because they have 4 hosts. So they bring a lot of different personalities and questions to the show. So you're not just getting, 1 or 2 people, you're getting 4 people that's asking the guests questions, and they really have a good selection of guests. I've learned a lot of stuff from each episode so far. So I definitely encourage you to tune in to Black Wealth Renaissance. They bring you a lot of jam-packed information episodes, so you'll learn a lot and you'll appreciate the 4 different hosts. The third podcast I want y'all to check out is called Black Equity Network, and this podcast is great because DJ brings in guests from a variety of different topics, from investing in hotels to doing public speaking to owning land in Africa. The topics are always engaging, you know what I'm saying? And the crazy part about this podcast is DJ is bringing episodes almost every day. So this dude is out here working. Shout out to him and shout out to the podcast. Go check out Black Equity Network. Number 4 podcast I like to listen to is going to be called Wild Black. And I like this podcast because they're not only bringing information, but they're going to make y'all laugh, man. These dudes be bugging on the show. And another thing they ask their guests is, one signature question is, what do you like the most about being black? Or what do you like about life the most while being black? Something like that. It's got something to do with while being black. You know what I'm saying? Life while black. What do you enjoy the most about life while black? I think that's the exact question. But anyway, that's a great question. And all the guests have different answers, which makes me appreciate and be grateful for the things that I can enjoy and the things that I have while being black in my life. You know what I'm saying? So definitely check out Wild Black. They talk about a lot of different topics as well. They bring definitely a good variety to the show. And the number 5 podcast I like is We Invested. And this podcast is fairly new, but is information packed. And I like this podcast is because it's a little bit more lower level. It's for those just getting started. They need tips on budgeting. They need tips on stocks. They need tips about investing. You know what I'm saying? At the beginner level. And we all need that. We all had to start from somewhere. So We Invested is bringing that information. And shout out to Wesley Earp and Jacob for bringing these gems to us. And I want to shout out some local podcasts because not from Charlotte. I'm from North Carolina, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Shout out to the 252. But I also went to UNC Charlotte. So I know a lot of people in Charlotte, and Charlotte's kind of a big city. So we got some people that's doing some big things, and I want to shout out some local podcasts from the Charlotte area, some people that I know. So Number one is gonna be Real Talk with Nene, hosted by Janine. Just basically a lifestyle podcast, I would say. She talks about a lot of different topics, from like living with your significant other, things like that. But it goes from, she talks about money a little bit too, but mainly it's lifestyle and different topics around that. Number two is gonna be the Get Right Then podcast by my boy Tyler Danzy. He's talking about finance and budgeting and stuff like that. Basically just a finance podcast, all things finance. Number three local podcast is gonna be 100 Conversations, and this is with Charles and CP. And these dudes are, I would liken it to a mental health podcast. They talk about a lot of different things dealing with your mental and how to not and how to overcome certain things, how to be, a good friend. They talk about a lot of stuff like that. So I would just basically call it like kind of a mental health podcast, but they talk about a lot of interesting topics as well. The number four podcast I want to shout out is going to be the Hot Girls podcast, and I don't really know the other hosts, but I do know Nadia, and congrats to Nadia, because as of right now I'm making this video, you just got engaged probably like 3 weeks ago, so congratulations on that. And the other hosts, I know one of them is Essence, and Essence has a brand called Live Finesse, where she shows you just basically how to finesse your life. And these girls are incredibly funny. They definitely bring a lot of personalities to the podcast, and this is another like lifestyle podcast. They talk about a range of topics, so those are pretty dope. Those are a few local Charlotte podcasts that I would definitely recommend you guys check out. All right, y'all, so if you know me, then you know that I'm huge on being on time. I'm a very punctual person, so naturally I like to keep a watch on me, but I'm not too big into flashy jewelry. So when I came across 24/7 watches, I was immediately hooked, because they have the watches made out of wood, but they're still elegant. And another cool thing about their brand is that each of the watches are named after different wealth principles. So the one that I'm wearing right now is called the Fortune. Be sure to check out 24/7 watches. They've been keeping me on time, and I know they can do the same for you. I hope you found this podcast valuable. There are a lot of podcasts, or maybe not a lot, that's a lot right there, but there's at least 5 to 6 other podcasts that I didn't get a chance to. And I collect podcasts, as in I go out and I search for a different podcast to listen to, because everybody has a voice and everybody has something different to say, and I can take information from anybody. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely seek out information. Information finds me abundantly. So wisdom comes to me abundantly. I hope you found all of this information valuable. I'll be doing another episode like this in the future with different podcasts that you can go check out, and also get some information from them as well. So stay on the lookout for that. I'll be dropping a link to all of these podcasts in the description below. Be sure to share at least one of these podcasts with one of your friends. I'm in the park, so you might see some kids running around. I'm in the park out here in Phoenix, Arizona, but so that's cool. It's this little guy's birthday or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely dope out here, and it's dope that I'm able to bring this information to you, and it's definitely dope that these people are out here pouring out their information to us for free. Listening to a podcast is for free. Rating a podcast, giving it 5 stars is for free. You know what I'm saying? So these are different things you can do to support your brothers and sisters in the community. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Word of Mouth. Thank you guys for wanting to support black business, and thank you for believing in black business ownership. Until next time, stay safe.
Start with the vision, then make a killing. You gon' make you $1 million, they gon' make you a villain.